Hello, dear students. I would like to welcome all on the online platform of KDGM e-learning YouTube channel. I hope that you all are safe and secure during this COVID-19 pandemic situation. I am Assistant Professor YK Chaudhary from Department of Commerce, KRT Arts, PH Commerce, and AM Science, popularly known as KDHM College, Nasik. So, today we are going to deal with accounting standards in the subject Advanced Accounting for EY class. So, my dear students, in the last year and in the first year BCom, we had learned about accounting standards, introduction, meaning, importance, and need of accounting standards, and some important accounting standards. And today we are going to deal with remaining some accounting standards, that is accounting standard 3, accounting standard 7, accounting standard 15, accounting standard 17, accounting standard 19, accounting standard 25, etc. In the last video, we see the introduction of accounting standards, objectives of accounting standards, then introduction of IFRS, and the list of accounting standards as well as the list of international accounting standards. We know international accounting standards are not now accepted because of IFRS, but the study purpose we will study, and we knowing about the international accounting standards are 41. So in this video we will learn and study the description of accounting standards. Those accounting standards are including our syllabus. As earlier I said that the accounting standards AS3 cash flow statement, AS7 construction contract, AS15 employees benefit, AS12 government's grant, AS17 segment reporting, AS19 lease, AS25 interim financial reporting. These are the accounting standards are including our course. So now we see one by one in brief level but in details. So, my dear friend, the first accounting standard is including our syllabus, that is AS3 accounting standard 3 cash flow statement. This standard revised in the year 1997. If you interested, remember the particular date. The date is 1st April 1997. So this standard deals with the financial statement which summarize for a given period the sources and application of fund of an enterprises. This standard supersede accounting standards AS3 changes in financial position issued in June 1981. So the cash flow are not to be classified into three categories, wise operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. So if knowing about the meaning for this standard, so cash flow statement is an additional information to the user of financial statement. This statement exhibits the flow of incoming and outgoing of cash. This statement assesses the ability of the enterprise to generate cash and to utilize the cash. This statement is one of the tools for assessing the liquidity and solvency of the enterprises. So if we knowing about the objective of this accounting standard to provide information and to provide of records of financial statements, to preparation and presentation of financial statements, provisions of information. These are the objective of this standard. And if we go in details about the cash flow statements, three activities. First one is operating activities. They are principal revenue producing activities of the enterprises other than investing and financing activities. The examples of cash flow from operating activities are as follows: cash receipts from the sale of goods and rendering of services, cash receipt from royalties, fees, commissions, and other revenues, cash payments to suppliers for goods and services, cash payment to and on behalf of the employee, and the so on. This is the information for the accounting standard 3 cash flow statement. The next accounting standard we will study accounting standard 7, that is construction contract. This standard issued in the year 1991, the date 1st April 1991. This standards deals with accounting for construction contracts in financial statements of contractors. The contracts may fall into the category of fixed price contracts or cost plus contracts. The accounting for such contracts may be followed either by the percentage of completion method or completed contract method. It means there are two methods are available. You can any one of them. So objective of this accounting standard, accounting for long-term construction contract involves a question as to when revenue should be recognized and how to measure the revenue in the books of the contractor. As the period of construction contract is long, work of construction start in 1 year and is completed in another year or after 4 or 5 or so on. It may be 10 to 15 years also. So therefore question arises how the profit or loss of construction contract by contractor should be determined. So there may be following two ways to determine profit or loss uh, on year to year basis based on percentage of completion or on completion of the contract. Then as earlier we see the types of contract, construction contract are of the types fixed price contract and second one cost plus contracts, and there third type also are available. Some construction contract may be a mix of the both, it's mean fixed and cost plus. So what is fixed price contract? In these contracts, contractor agree for fixed price of the contract or fixed rate per unit. However, in some cases, the contract price is subject to escalation. So escalation means what? Escalation is the clause of these contracts. So we see in details when we study this particular contract, this accounting standard. Now cost plus contracts. Cost plus contract means in this contract, contractor is reimbursed the cost as defined plus fixed percentage of fees or profit. And the third one, mix of both or combining and segmenting contracts. For accounting purpose, usually requirement of these accounting standards is applied separately to each contract to calculate profit or loss from the contract, but under some circumstances, the profit or loss may be calculated in combination of two or more contracts or group of combined contracts. Basically, group of contracts may be combined for accounting purpose because in substance these contracts are part of a single project with an overall profit of margin. There are some methods calculate revenue, and the formulas we see when we solving the practical problem under these accounting standards. That time we will see the formulas, and this construction contract revised in 2002. So this thing also you remember that. After studying the accounting standard 3, accounting standard 7, we move forward the next accounting standard is 12, that is accounting standard 12, accounting for government grants. So these standards issued in the year 1994 and the date 1st April 1994. These standards deals with the accounting for government grants. Government grants are sometimes called by other names such as subsidies, cash incentives, duty drawbacks, etc. This standard does not deal with the special problem arising in accounting for government grant in financial statements, reflecting the effects of changing prices or any supplementary information of a similar nature. Second one, government assistance other than in the form of government grant, and third one, government participation in the ownership of the enterprises. If we learn in the meaning, government grants are assistance by the government in the form of cash or kind to an enterprise in return for past or future compliance with certain conditions. So government assistance which cannot be valued reasonably in excluded from government grants. Those transactions with government which cannot be different from the normal trading transactions of the enterprises are not considered as a government grants. So as earlier we see, government grants are sometimes called as subsidies, cash incentives, etc. Government means government agencies and similar bodies, whether local, national or international. This statement does not deal with government assistance, government participation, and then recognition of government grants. Then kinds of government grants is monetary or non-monetary. The grants of assets like plant and machinery, lands, etc. And the tax exemption is notified area. So it is also important in this standards. So the tax benefit is notified area. The refund of government grants and the specified assets given in the in details standard. The next accounting standard 15, employees benefit. This standard deals with accounting for retirement benefits in the financial statements of employers. For this purpose, the retirement benefits considered may be in the form of provident fund, superannuation or pension, gratuity, leave encashment benefits, on retirement, post retirement health and welfare scheme, and any other retirement benefits. Accounting Standard 15 has been revised by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and it's applicable in respect of accounting period commencing on or after 1st April 2006. It's been issued in the year 2006. The scope of the accounting standard has been enlarged to include accounting for short-term employee benefits and termination benefit. Further, the detailed principle for the retirement benefit have also been laid down. So here, if applicability for this accounting standard 15 is made applicable to different types of enterprises as under level 1 enterprises in its entirety other than level 1 enterprises, and if we see the meaning of employee benefits are all form of consideration given by an enterprises directly to the employee or their spouse, children or other dependents, or to others such as a trust, insurance companies, to exchange of service rendered by the employee. So who is the employee? Here for the purpose of this standard, employee include full-time directors and management personnel. This standard is applicable to all form of employer-employee relationships. There is no requirement for former employer-employee relationship. Several factors need to be considered to determine the nature of relationship. Generally, outsourcing contract may not meet the definition of employer-employee relationship. However, such contracts need to be carefully examined to difference between a contract of service and contract for services. A contract for service implies A contract for rendering services, that is professional or technical service, which is subject to limited direction and control, whereas a contract of service implies relationship of an employer and employee, and the person is obliged to obey order in the work to be performed and as to its mode and manner of performance. There are some types of employees, short-term employee benefit, post-employment benefits. There were overviews of accounting also available in these standards, and other long-term employees benefit, termination benefits, and also including in this standards what employees benefit not covered, giving details. Then this accounting standard also focus on the following important points: profit sharing and bonus plan, post-employment benefits, defined contribution plans, post-employment benefits, defined benefit plan, other long-term employees benefit, announcement of ICEI, termination benefit, recognition and actuarial gain and losses, and accounting for employees share-based payment. These are the things are included in the accounting standards, and all forms of consideration given by enterprises directly to the employee or their spouses, children, and other dependents to others such as trust insurance companies in exchange of service render. The next accounting standard AS17 segment reporting. This standard issued in the year 2001. So this standard apply to companies which have an annual turnover of rupees 50 crore or more. This standard requires that the accounting information should be reported on segment basis. The segment may be based on product, services, geographical area, etc. It helps the user of financial statements to understand the performance of the enterprise segment wise. If we see the meaning of this accounting standard, an enterprise deals in multiple products or services and operates in different geographical areas. Multiple products or services and its operation in different geographical area are exposed to different risks and returns. Information about multiple products or services and its operation in different geographical area is called segment information. Such information is used to assess the risks and return of multiple products or services and its operation in different geographical areas. Disclosure of such information is called segment reporting. Now, what are the objectives of this accounting standard? Is first objective to better understand the performance of the enterprises, to better assess the risks and return of the enterprises, and the third one to make more informed judgments about the enterprises as a whole. There are two types of segments. First one is business segment and the second one is geographical segment. So what is business segment? Segment is made on the basis of products or services which are exposed to different risks and returns. A business segment is a component of an enterprise which satisfy the following conditions. It is a different component of an enterprise. It is engaged in providing an individual product or service or group of related product or services, and it is subject to risks and return that are different from those other business segments. And the nature of product or services, the nature of the production processes, the method is to distribute the product or provide the services. These factors that should be considered in determining whether products or services are related includes. Now, geographical segments. Segment is made on the basis of its operation, its different geographical area which are exposed to different risks and returns. Each geographical segment is a component of an enterprise which satisfies the following condition. It is a differentiable component of an enterprise. It is engaged in providing products or service within a particular economic environment. This thing is very important here, within a particular economic environment. The risks and returns of an enterprise are influenced both by the geographical location of its operation, whether where its products are produced or where its service render activities are based, and also by the location of its consumer means customer, where its products are sold or service are rendered. The definition allow geographical segment is to be based on either the location of production or service facility and other asset of all enterprises, or the location of its customer. This is the notable terms. Now information and different risks and returns reporting. These are the uh, accounting standard 17 segment reporting. Here also we see the segment assets, segment liabilities. We see in details when we will see some examples. The accounting standard 17. Last but not least, the remaining accounting standard for our syllabus is 25 Interim Financial Reporting IFR. This accounting standard issued in the year 2002. So reporting for less than a year, that is 3 months. Clause 41 says publish financial results on quarterly basis, and the objective is to provide frequently and timely assessment. So this standards deals with the minimum content of interim financial report and prescribe the principle for recognition and measurement in complete or condensed financial statements for an interim period. This standards does not indicate anything about the frequency of such reporting. If we see the meaning of interim financial reporting is the reporting for period of less than a year, generally for a period of 3 months, means quarterly. As per clause 41 of listing agreement, the companies are required to publish the financial results on the quarterly basis. If we see the objective of this accounting standard, the objective of this standard is to prescribe the minimum content of interim financial reports and to prescribe the principle for recognition and measurement in a complete or condensed financial statement for an interim period. As the period reporting is shortened, the effects of error is estimation and allocation increases. And this standard is also focuses on the following points: seasonable and occasional revenue, change in estimates, change in accounting policies, cost incurred unevenly during the financial year, major planned periodic maintenance or overhaul, depreciation and amortization, applicability of interim financial results, and significant difference among AS 25, IFRS oblique International Accounting Standard 34. And so this accounting standard include the one of the most fundamental concept, that is materiality. So information is material if its misstatement, that is omission or error, could be influence the economic decision of users taken on the basis of the financial information. So the overriding objective is to ensure that the interim financial reporting includes all information that is relevant to understanding an enterprise's financial position and performance during the interim period. So these are the accounting policies including in these accounting standards. So you learn and remember it as per our applicability. So these are the 6 accounting standards including our TYBCom class syllabus. So you learn it, remember it, and do more study and understood these accounting standards for your level. So my dear friends, thank you very much. If you have any query, You can connect with me at my email id snil@ktsmcollege.ac.in, and if you have any query, you frequently call me. My mobile number 7218189292.